なければいけなかった。そうすると尻尾の長さって大体決まってしまうんですね。
And because in the old days you had to use wires, piano wires, to move them around, the length of the tail was always pretty much the same in every movie because they had a certain limit they could only use with piano wires.
だからものすごく長い尻尾にしたかった。
So he says, I wanted to make a really long tail.
なるべくその別の生き物のように。
And almost like the tail took on a life of its own.
というところからアイデアがどんどん膨らんでいって最終的に光線を出すことになるんです。
And so many ideas came from that after they made the design, and then what they wanted to do, and now they were going to use CGI. So a lot of the different ideas came up, and they had the longer tail and everything else, and this is what it ended up turning out to be.
そして
It's supposed to move. Oh, there we go. Nice. Oh, there you go.
そしてその今の作った粘土で作ったものを、一度 3D スキャンでスキャンしました。
So they made it out of clay the first time like this, and then they took a 3D scanner. They scanned it with 3D.
でここでどんどんディテールを細かくしていって。最終的なゴジラのモデルを
And then from there they went into smaller and smaller details and just kept building on top of that.
このような形になると大体これはもしかしたら本物全部これでいけちゃうんじゃないかなというふうになってきます。
And then when it got to this point, it's almost like this thing really might be alive somewhere in the world. Well, it looks like it is taking a life of its own.
そしてその後今度何をするかというと、CG にしたところで結局それはどうやって動かすかということが最大の問題になるんですね。
They decided to do it in CG, but then from then you decide how do we want to move the tail.
でいろんな方法があると思うんですが、その中でやっぱり我々として最近のアメリカの CG なんかもこの間のゴジラなんかとかもそうだったんですけど、やはり誰かがモーションキャプチャーをしてやっぱお芝居という人間のちゃんとやってるパフォーマンスでも大事にした。
There's a lot of different ways you could probably do that, move the tail and things like that. A lot of motion capture and things like that with the 2014 as well and other things. And they wanted to make sure that that was not sacrificed in any way.
でそういうことを考えていくと、じゃあ誰に動いてもらおうかと思った時に日本でやっぱりそういうのが一番人間じゃなくてある意味神様だったり獣だったりそういったものに近い存在の動きをできる人誰だろうか。
And we're trying to figure out who would be the best to have the natural movement, who could do the natural movements of the tail. It has to be something that's not basically human, more like a god or something creaturistic, something like that.
ですみません、これ間違えた。萬歳になってる。野村萬歳さんと。
His name is Murasa Mansai, but it says Mansai, so forget one of the Mansais.
野村萬歳さんという狂言といって日本のステージパフォーマンスで本当1000年以上の歴史を持っている、ずっと例えばそれは昔は神様に見せるステージだったりとか。
He's very famous in Japan for doing the different stage performances, and so he would enact gods, deities, and things like that from ancient history and things like that. すごい限られた状況の中で肉体を使って表現しなきゃいけないパフォーマンスなんですね。 These performances are done in a very small area, but so you have to learn how to use your body, language, I guess is the right word, as much as possible in this limited area.
歌を歌いながら自分の肉体を表現することで物語を語っていくというやり方で、ある意味その体の動かし、しかもその物語のほとんどが山の中でビーストと出会うという話が非常に多かった。
And so there are a lot of things like you can sing a song and do things and other types of things, musicals and stuff like that. This is just all body language, and so the limited amount of space, and the more you can do, the better you are at it, the better people understand it.
でそういう伝統芸能のスタイルから新しいゴジラの歩き方とかで。
And from this style of no play, they were able to create the new style of walking for the Godzilla.
そうすることでゴジラが単なるコンピューターで作った 優れた生き物ではなくて、もっとその違った魂を吹き込むことができるんじゃないか。
And so instead of just say something that they created from CGI or something like that, there's actually a soul, a spirit inside it coming to life.
で彼からのオーダーが一つだけあって、私と同い年だったんですけど、彼は小学校の時にあだ名がレッドキングだったと。
The performer there is the same age as I am, and when he was a child, he had a nickname of Red King.
非常になで方と分かります。肩が勝手なすごい肩がない体型だったのでレッドキングと呼ばれて。
He was called Red King because he has no shoulders.
で、オーダーするときに一つ彼からお願いがあって、お面を作ってほしい。ね、マスクをね。
And so he would do the performance and everything else, but there's only one thing he wanted. He wanted to have a mask that he could put on.
一つじゃなくて三つあった。あと尻尾が
He
欲し
said
い。
three things. So he wanted a mask for his face, and he wanted a tail,
そして、あと背びれですね。
and he
なるべ
wanted
くその
the
形
spikes
にな
in
り
the
たい。
back. Yeah.
そして、モーションキャプチャーのスタジオに入って、もうすでに 3D スキャンしてあるデータを彼の
They already had the 3D scan of what they wanted Godzilla to look like and do, and so he would look at that, and then he would actually become Godzilla and do all the different movements.
それをこのようにして、
And this is how they put the whole thing together. Yeah.
それを、まあ、細かい調整はあるんですけど、それをすべて 3DCG に取り込んで、最終的にゴジラ
And then throw it all in together, the 3D, and put this all together. This is some of the what it turned out to be like.
ただこの頃はまだどうなるかわからない。やはりロングショットは CG でもできたんですけど、クローズアップとかどうやって撮影すればいいかということで、
When you're taking a lot of faraway shots, CGI is really easy to use, but the closer-up shots, they were a little bit worried about what had happened.
なのでクローズアップに関してはやはり造形物を作った方がいいので。
And so with other than CGI, they should actually have something that they can move, analog stuff, things that people have used in the past. And so for closer-up shots, they had actual hands and stuff that they would use.
でこのような、上半身だけの、まあ、当時私が最初に参加したゴジラに出てきたやはりそれでも同じようなロボットを作っていて、それに用いてサイボットのあれが。
And like even though they're using a lot of CGI, like the first movies that he worked with, they had just the upper body of a Godzilla model that they would use to move the movements for the close-up shots.
それと同様に、いろいろなゴジラが現れたことによって起きる影響等をすべて特撮の今までと同じ方法で撮影するようにしました。
So from the 6-year history of Godzilla, a lot of the special effects they used with him coming up on shore and moving out are things that they've done in the past.
これも最初に川からゴジラが現れる時の川の水の素材です。
So when he comes out of the river there in the beginning, this is actually what they did. It's not CGI, it's actually all analog.
そして建物を壊すところも後で CG のところに
And so you can see this, it's painted that color because that will be CG in the end, but all the houses are miniatures. So they're using analog and digital at the same time.
青い塊を全部後で CG に置き換えるつもりで撮影しました。
Yeah, exactly what I just said. It's blue because they're going to ask the CG later. They're added in later.
いろんなところに GoPro を置いたけど結局使えませんでしたね。
He said he did all these different things, and most of these scenes they didn't use.
結局青い部分がいっぱいあるじゃないですか。それを見たときに CG のチームがこれを全部消して何かを合成するのは嫌だって言い始めて。
And because there's so much blue with the Godzilla himself, the CG team kept looking at us and said, there's so much blue in this, we don't want to erase all of this. And so they started to do it and they said, this is too much work. So they
だったら壊れる建物も CG でやった方がいいというのが CG。
So they had different teams who want to do the analog, different teams who want to do the digital now. So they're fighting in between each other because, well, if you're going to do that, just make all the buildings CGI as well. No, we want analog, and then you add the CGI. No, we don't want to erase it. Make it all CGI. So they were fighting among themselves.
Was the intent in including a lot of model work to keep the tradition alive? This isn't probably typical with a mostly CG film.
はい。ええええええ。そうですね。ええ。
Yes, because of things that were in the past, they wanted to have something that mimicked what they had done in the past.
But in large part, you don't think there is much future for this now, for model work?
はい。あるんじゃないですかね。
No, I still think there's still a part it will play. As he was saying before, the long shots are easy with CGI, but the closer up ones they look a little bit cheap.
But he's telling us that all of these were rejected, and they look great to me.
いや全部ではないです。ね、
he said most of them, not all of them. Some of them were used. Okay.
本当ラッキーなことで今回は CG のクオリティがすごい高かった。だけどいつも高いとは限らないので、あと高いクオリティの CG を作ろうと思ってやっぱバジェットがかかるので、それをどうやって抑えるかというのを一つ考えなきゃいけない。
Most of the CGI does take a lot of money, it takes a lot of time as well, and so they actually had their budget was all worked out before it, so they knew what they could work with, and that's why they were able to use a lot more CGI because it was a new thing and because they hadn't done it a while before. But as you come up with a certain budget that Toho or other companies will give you, you'll have to probably use a lot of analog to keep up with the budget, keeping within the budget.
And I wanted to ask him from a personal point of view. It would seem to me to be more fun to work with models and miniatures, but how do you feel versus CG?
そういうことを言うと一生懸命 CG を作っている人たちが怒り出すので僕の口からそれは言えないな。
So you can't say it in a big voice because the CG people get upset.
Well, I think one of the big differences is with CG you can do anything, but with miniatures you have to figure out how to do something.
それでいうとどうやればうまくいくかっていう方法は我々はミニチュアの方がよく知ってるんですね。
In my case, I know a lot more about miniature than CD at this point, so that would not be hard for me to do and something you'd like to do.
それは何かっていうとミニチュアだったらうまくいかないことも知ってるからなんです。
He also knows what won't work with miniatures as well, so it's a good balance.
CG の場合面倒くさいことは毎年どんどんアップデートされることなんです。
The one thing I don't like about CG itself is every year they update it. They make it better than it was before.
3年前できなかったことが今ではできるようになっている。
And so something that you couldn't do 3 years ago, you can now do, and so now they have to research that as well.
でも一方で例えば CG というのは世界中すべてのその映画を作る人たちが同じものを使っているので、これなんかで見たことあるっていうのがすごく多いですね。
And now he thinks that there's a lot of movies that are similar because they're using the same software.
だから今回のゴジラで我々がね本当に好きなだけスカイクレーパーを壊すことができたのはマン・オブ・スティールのおかげなんですよ。マン・オブ・スティールっていう映画が、マン・オブ・スティール。
Okay. One of the reasons they were able to do what they wanted to do is because of the movie The Man of Steel. They were able to see that and not mimic it, but use that in their CG, the way that they wanted to push it, this movie, the CG, was from The Man of Steel.
だから結局アメリカで作られた映画の CG が素晴らしいとそれが我々に1年か2年ぐらい遅れて届いてくる。
And so after seeing that movie, that it comes into Japan a year or two later than it happens in America, basically, when it comes to stuff like that. But having seen that movie, they realized that they would be able to use it, and that was a big push for the movie in CG.
それでいうと本当なんだろうな、そういううまく使える CG を知っていればうまくいくんですけど、うまくいくかどうかが分かんないものをそこにお金を突っ込んでも失敗した時がものすごく目も当てられない場合が CG の場合。
And so when it comes to CG as well, for them it's a new thing as well. So if it works well and looks good, then it's really perfect. But if it doesn't work well, you've wasted a lot of money, a lot of time, and so you get people get upset at you very quickly.
だからそれを考えると本当どっちが好きでどっちが嫌いかとかではない段階になってくる。
And so right now, him and some other people are in the middle. They don't really hate either one. They're trying to make a balance of them.
その辺を考えるとね、どっちがいいって僕はまだなんだろうな、多分一生もしかしたら結論を出せないかもしれない。
And a lot of people ask him the same thing, which one is better, but he thinks he'll never be able to say exactly which one is better forever. It'll just be depending case by case, I think.
I'm wondering if you can show us the front of the first form of the Godzilla, because all we ever saw was his tail. Well, we saw the tail part, but we never actually saw what was attached to the tail. I'm wondering if he had a concept on that.
はい。はい、はい、あります。はい。今日持ってきてないな。
He has it, but he didn't bring it with him.
あれ、実はあれは全部CG じゃないんですよ、あそこは。
That is all not CG. Some of it is not CG actually.
そもそもあんなものをですね、それまでいろんなものを、ね、許してなかった東宝が許すわけないので。
There are certain parts that the Toho would not allow, and so they had to change it up for that as well.
東宝に内緒であれ作って、内緒で撮影して、内緒で編集に入れたんですよ。
We in the certain scenes with the first transformation of Godzilla, they did a lot of it in secret and didn't tell Toho about it at all. Stuck it in there.
しかも撮影したのは本当公開の2ヶ月ぐらい前で。
And they were still shooting up until 2 months before they actually showed it in the movie theaters. So.
The previous Godzilla movies were not big hits, and so I'm wondering if he was surprised by what happened at the box office and how he explains that.
はい。はい。ここまでヒットするとは思わなかったですよね。
No, I didn't think it would hit this big.
あまりそれ理由はすごい簡単なんですけど、今までゴジラを見に来ないお客さんも見に来てくれたことは。
He never thought it was going to be this big of a hit, but he thinks the reason it did so well is because so many people who've never seen a Godzilla movie or have not been to see one in a long time came to see the movie. So.
であと一つだけ徹底的にやったのが、多分アメリカとはちょっと日本違うのかもしれないですけど、日本の場合その内容を全く知らせなかった。どんな映画であるかということを誰にも知らせないで、普通だったらプレビューといって2ヶ月ぐらい前からその映画をいろんななんだろうマスコミに見せたりするんだけど、それを一切やらなかった。
And like the original Godzilla as well, they in America a lot of times they'll throw out the small advertising portions of the movie and said they did nothing like that in Japan at all for this, and the original as well. So no one knew what Godzilla was when they were first making it the first time, and this time they know the name Godzilla, but they didn't know what kind of movie it would become, and they didn't show any form of it until they were actually showing it in the movie theaters in Japan.
だからそれをなんだろうな、結局映画が始まってから見たお客さんもどんな内容かということを見てない人に言わない、秘密にしてくれた、秘密を共有してくれた。
And so in one way, because they're saying we kept it a secret until we showed it in the theaters, the people who went to see it were also keeping it a secret. So you had to go to the movies to see it, or they wouldn't tell you what it was about. So.
それはなぜかというと、最初に出てきたミミズみたいなやつがまさかゴジラになるとは誰も思わない。
The other reason is because no one would believe you. Said it looks like a worm when it first comes out, man. No one would believe it, so they didn't tell anybody about it.
でもそれがなんだろう、見てる人たちがそれを知らずに見て驚いてくれたことを、じゃあ他の人にもなんか同じ気持ちにさせたいからみんな黙っててくれたんですね。
The other reason was because they were very surprised when it came out in the first short form and the second as well, that they kept quiet about it because they wanted other people to be surprised as much as they were. No spoilers, yeah.
I'm curious, do you see a future for this form of Godzilla, or do you think there's going to have to be a different style of form of Godzilla in the future?
どうなんですかね。作る人によるんじゃないですかね。
He thinks he doesn't know if it will come out as this again, but it depends on who's going to make the next film, of course.
I'm thinking though that this guy is so big and so powerful, and he doesn't have the arms. He can't grapple like the old Godzilla. So I'm just wondering if he sort of thinks that this is his Godzilla, and then whatever comes next might be something different.
ねえねえねえまあ
If King Ghidorah flies overhead, he'd just shoot him and cut him into salami.
ねえ終わりですね。もう勝つ方法はないと思う。
There's probably no way to beat this guy.
まあ次の人が考えるんで。
Well, whoever's the next one to come out will probably have the next idea for the Godzilla. So.
Well, does that mean that you have done your Godzilla and have no interest in doing another one now?
まあ頼まれればやりたいです。
If they ask me to do it, I would love to do another one.
Yeah!
Thank you. Well, that, I guess, is a good way to end it. Boy, that hour went fast. I'm told it's actually 2 o'clock. We don't want to go over to the next one. So thank you very much.
Right.